Who is not telling the tribunal the truth between the two ladies? Miss Kutlwano and Miss Mengo. Miss Kutlwano maintained that Miss Mengo brought the laptop with her, and Miss Mengo said, "No, I did not bring the laptop with me." Miss Kutlwano insisted that Miss Mengo even mentioned the fact that she was going to type the judgment. And Miss Mengo said, no, it was the end of the term, so I had no judgments to type. That is why I did not bring in the laptop. But Miss Kutlwano insisted and said, but I saw the laptop when you were taking out the luggage out of the rented car. She even explained that Miss Mengo was driving a rented car. I wonder why would the ladies lie about the story of the laptop? Did you bring in the laptop or not? Why do you have to lie about that? Is there something suspicious or what? Tell me what you think on the comment section, guys. Who do you think is not telling the truth between the two ladies? And why would they lie about a laptop? For that matter, let's listen to Ms. Kutlwano as she was giving evidence to the tribunal when she was told that her evidence is not making sure.
Make a copy of the signed complaint that ultimately you took to the Chief Justice.
Yes.
You both agree on that?
Yes.
And in fact, you go further in your affidavit and you say that was because it was not the practice to make a copy of a complaint of this nature before you took it to the Chief Justice, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Then Ms. Mengo agrees with you that on 9 December, you called her saying that the affidavit had been misplaced. Sorry, it wasn't on 9 December, it was a bit later.
Yes, it was a bit later.
Yeah. And that it had been misplaced and that she must do a new complaint in the form of an affidavit.
Yes.
We're on the same page. Okay. And she also agrees with you that you sent her what we'll call a pro forma affidavit. That was an affidavit with the introductory portions and the closing commissioner's portion of the affidavit completed.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. And she agrees that she couriered a signed, commissioned copy of that to you in January.
Yes, that's correct.
I think it was the 18th of January.
But yes, somewhere there.
Okay. Now, there are also things that she disputes. Okay.
Yes.
So I'd like to take you through that so that you can comment on it. You have an opportunity to respond. Okay.
Yes.
Ms. Mengo disputes that she had her laptop with her on the 7th and 8th of December when she came to Johannesburg. And she disputes that she typed any part of that complaint. Do you want to respond?
That is not correct. She had a laptop, as I've indicated, because she said she was going to work. She bought it so that she can finalize the judgment that she was working on.
Okay.
So because it was late and I had to leave, I said, you carry on so that we finish. Because remember, I was instructed that the complaint needs to be finalized before she returns back.
Yes. I recall that evidence. Her version is that she did not have a laptop with her and that there were no judgments. She was not given an opportunity to place this part of the evidence before you, but if she were asked, she would say that there were no judgments that she had outstanding at that time because it was the end of term, and the last work that she had to do before the end of term was in criminal court, and that there were no judgments. But you won't know anything about that, so I won't ask you to respond to that. I have your version. Now, on your affidavit, you say that Advocate Potgieter specifically asked you to bring your laptop with you. Is that correct? So I want to put it to you that that's why you were asked to bring your laptop specifically, because Advocate Potgieter knew that Ms. Mengo did not have a laptop and that you would have to assist her by typing the complaint. Would you like to respond?
Come again, please.
So, sure. Advocate Potgieter asked you to bring your laptop when she asked you to come and assist a complainant, correct?
Yes.
And you said that specifically in your affidavit and also in your evidence yesterday.
Yes.
So I want to put to you that she specifically asked you to bring your laptop so that you could type the complaint because Ms. Mengo did not have a laptop with her.
At the time when we met at Advocate Potgieter's office, she did not have a laptop. But when we go to the hotel, when we were checking in, that's when she took the luggage. That's when she brought a laptop with her.
Okay, that's the first time we've heard that in these proceedings. Ms. Mengo's version, as I put to you, is that she did not have a laptop.
That is not correct.
Okay. She also disputes that you left her hotel room at about 9 o'clock. She says that actually you left after midnight when the affidavit was completed. And in fact, she was so worried about you leaving so late that she sent you a thank you card after the event to thank you for staying so late with her because she was worried about you getting home.
Yes, but it was not at midnight. It was around 9 o'clock.
So she sent you a thank you card to say thank you for staying with her until 9 o'clock.
Yes.
Okay. Then Ms. Mengo agrees with you that the next morning you both met at the offices of the OCJ in Midrand, that you printed the affidavit and that she had emailed the annexes to you, and you put that together, and together you went to the police station to commission it.
Yes.
Okay. She also says she never had a copy of that complaint because you had the only copy, and you confirmed that the only printed copy was the one that was commissioned that you then took to the Chief Justice.
I didn't get what you say.
She says she never had a copy of the complaint. Okay. Ms. Mengo's version was you had the only copy of the complaint. I'll let you respond to that first.
I didn't give her the copy of the complaint because she finalized the complaint when she typed the previous night. So she ought to have saved it on her laptop. So I can't give her a copy of something that she already has.
Mm. So she ought to have saved it on her laptop.
Yes, because in order for me to give me a final version of what I'm supposed to print, I'm supposed to take it from you with a memory stick, which we did.
So you printed from a memory stick?
Yes.
And you saved it to your laptop?
Yes, after I got it from with the memory stick, I saved it on my laptop, hence I had a copy.
Mm.
Yes, and an unsigned copy.
You had an unsigned copy?
Yes.
On your laptop?
Yes.
In response to your version about the memory stick, Ms. Mengo says she never saved anything to a memory stick on the 7th or 8th of December. The only memory stick that she recalls was one that you gave to her much later when she moved to Johannesburg after she had a death threat. And that's towards the end of January 2023. And you gave her that memory stick so she could save the second complaint on, because you wanted to make sure you had an electronic copy of that one.
That's not correct. She gave me the second complaint came from her because she coded it. So why would I also give her a copy of the complaint that she also had?
No, sorry, I'm not. That's not what I meant to suggest. You gave her the memory stick to save a copy of the second complaint on, so you had an electronic version.
I gave it to her, the second complaint.
No. You gave her the memory stick so that she could save the second complaint on the memory stick and give it to you, so you had an electronic copy. Because she had couriered you only a hard copy.
Yes, and I made copies of that.
But you didn't have an electronic copy, correct?
Of the second one. I did when she couriered to me, I made a copy.
You made an electronic copy?
I made a hard copy for the Chief Justice and also saved an electronic copy for myself.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so she disputes that. And then I want to move to January this year.
Yes.
Now, in January this year, when these proceedings were about to start, the respondent's attorneys requested a copy of what they call the original complaint.
Yes.
Okay. And I think there's a series of emails. They're in Chair in Exhibit 2. And they start from about the relevant portions, page 1422. You don't need to go to that. I'll tell you what they say, and if you want to look at the emails, you're welcome to.
Okay.
So in January this year, the respondent's attorneys requested a copy of what they call the original complaint, and on the 10th of January, there's an email from Ms. Mbali Sontra advising that you had indicated, in fact, I'll read you that portion of the email. Give me a minute. Okay, so Ms. Sontra says, and this is at page 1422, Chair. Does the witness have a copy of Exhibit 2?
No.
No, okay, let me read it to you. It's an email from Ms. Sontra to all of the legal representatives and the tribunal in this matter. And she says, Dear Mr. Ngube, I refer to the letter dated 10 January 2025 and wish to respond as follows. I received the communication on 13 December 2024, and I then telephoned Ms. Moretwe, who was the secretariat at the time when the complaint was lodged, sometime in December 2020. Oh, I see you've got a copy. Do you want to just go to page 1422?
Page what?
1422.
Yes, I'm there.
You have it, okay. So I won't then read the whole email since you have it, but if you look...
Yes, just to indicate to you, our pagination doesn't coincide.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Our 1422 is something completely different, but we've found the letter that you're reading, which our pagination is 1418.
1418. Okay. So it is the email of January 10th. Have you got the right one, Ms. Moretwe? It's an email from January 10th, Friday, January 10th?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. So you'll see midway through, in fact, the second to last paragraph of that email, that Ms. Sontra says, during our telephonic conversation, Ms. Moretwe then undertook to look for the said complaint. She came back to me and stated she can't find it in her emails, and I should search in her old office, which is currently occupied by Mr. Ramaisa. You see that?
Yes, I see that.
Okay. And then later on she says, she confirms that they're currently still searching for the file, and and she was intending to advise later today on the status. You see that?
Yes, I see that.
Okay. And then ultimately, as I understood your evidence, they didn't find anything in your office, correct? Okay. So at paragraph 13 of your affidavit, you say, after all the screenshots were printed, we bundled them together. We marked them as Annexure A to the complaint. I don't recall the number of screenshots she sent to my email, as I'd already deleted them at the time of preparing this affidavit.
That is correct.
Is that correct? You stand by that?
Yes.
So when did you delete the annexures?
So that's after I've left JSC.
When? Can you put a date for us?
I left JSC around at the end of July 2003.
So around July.
2023.
So you deleted the annexures
From my emails.
from your email?
Yes. I'm referring to that when I say I deleted. It was from my emails, the screenshots that Ms. Mengo had sent to me to print. Those are the ones that I deleted.
Okay. So if Ms. Sontra had annexures to provide to this tribunal, she didn't receive them from you?
No.
All right. Ms. Moretwe, I must tell you that I find your evidence concerning, and that I will argue that your version should not be accepted, particularly as it relates to Ms. Mengo in due course. Do you want to respond to that?
I have no comment.
Okay. Thank you very much. No further questions, Chair.
Mr. Sikakani.
Thank you, Chair. Ms. Murata, let me start with the elephant in the room, why you were cross-examined now. Let me start with that issue at the end.
Okay.
There are two versions, and that's what causes the anxiety.
Yes.
Your version and Ms. Mengo's version are mutually destructive in this way, and I want your comment. You testified that Ms. Mengo had her laptop, therefore her laptop had the initial complaint, right?
Yes.
She testified that she didn't. She had no reference to the initial complaint. No, she had no copy. She had nothing electronic, although there were things that are similar, but let's leave that for now.
Yes.
That is the elephant in the room here, what has caused what is. So, do you agree with me
Yes, Council.
that these two versions are mutually exclusive? One is untrue.
That's correct, Council.
And if it's either you are not telling the tribunal the truth, or Ms. Mengo did not tell the tribunal the truth.
Yes.
Do you want to comment?
Yes, Council. Like I've explained, Ms. Mengo had brought when we arrived at the hotel, and then she offloaded her things. She had her luggage, and then she had a laptop, and she had a bag. At the time we were at the office, she had her bag, her handbag, at all times. It's only when we go to the office that now she had a laptop and a luggage and a handbag. And then, as I've explained, because it was too late, around past 9, I had to get home. I then asked her that, well, because we're not finished, can she continue typing, finalizing the document? Because it was a very, very long story. Even at the hotel, we know she would still get emotional as well.
Yes.
And then, so she had the complaint. The morning that when she came to the office with the laptop, and then there was a memoristic, I don't recall whether it was from her or myself, where we uploaded the complaint, and I printed it so that we can take it to commission. But I think after, when we did it, I also saved the uncommissioned one. I also saved it for my laptop. So she also had a copy of that. I also had a copy of it.
Yes. Just a minute, because there might have been a confusion that you didn't intend. So I want that clarification.
Yes, President.
At the time when she was at the office, you saw her at the office after you had been called by the advocate?
Yes.
Now that was at the office of the OCJ.
Yes, President.
At that stage, did Mr. Mengo have her laptop?
No. She only had her handbag.
Yes.
Yes.
At which stage did you notice that she had her laptop?
When we got to the hotel.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Because they had booked her, she had a rental car, so everything was there.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, thank you.
Right, Ms. Murata. Let me complete this part, and then we'll go sequentially again.
Okay.
Because it's what I think caused what you went through now. So, because you were watching the proceedings, something that is uncontroversial at all that was established was that the complaint, the second complaint, you call it the new complaint, in your emails. The second complaint about which we are today, in certain parts, which is consistent with your version, is the same as the initial one, including mistakes, including spaces between where the word ends and where the full stop. That's identical, absolutely identical, throughout, except new things. Do you have any comment about what would cause that identical nature of the two?
It can only be identical if you had a copy of the first one.
Right.